Hello everybody, welcome to the iRacing East Series live here tonight for race number 18 from the Daytona International Speedway using the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series cars for chase race number 2 and the bottle up round of 12. As after this race, they'll only get cut down to 8 drivers left remaining in the chase for the championship as we continue to whittle down this field of competitors. And we're going to take a look at the standings in just a moment. So coming into this race, here are the point standings straight off of the iRacingEseries.com. You can check that out for more information and stats on the season so far. But currently the chase standings, so chase coming into this race, Tara Conlon's win last week at Talladega gives him 10 bonus points for this round. That's going to be a huge help and basically put him ahead of the rest of the field. It's everybody else cruising in as junior. Ryan Worley, who's actually not here tonight. Jason Patt, Brandon Wilson, Chris Etcheper, Jeffrey McConey, Greg McConey, Jeffrey Price, Bobby Hash, Eric Reinhardt, and Scott Layton are all tied from a second through 12th place in points with 2,000 points apiece. So Tara Khan has a 10-point advantage. He's definitely going to use that to his advantage here tonight. And remember, whoever wins this race gets another 10 bonus points for next week, which will then determine the championship 4. So definitely don't want to miss that if you're watching, and definitely don't want to miss the round of 4 if you're one of these drivers battling for the championship. But we're going to go through the Smoky Schemes starting grid here tonight for race number 18 of the iRacing East Series. So Tommy Gossett making his first career start here tonight in the number 3 machine. He's going to start off on the pole at a time of 47.987, and Cody Smith is going to qualify second place in that number 15 entry. The time of 48.039. Row number 2 tonight, Bobby Hash in the 30, with Douglas Carlson making his first start here tonight. And trying on a lot of new faces here for the iRacing East. It's fun to see them with us. Timothy Pop in that 777 there in 5th. Scott Leitner in the 66, starting in 6th. Maybe that way you will. Chris Ingles starting in the 7th there in the number 5 machine. Eric Reinhardt starting in 8th, and then round out their qualifiers. But then... All right, a field of drivers in total here tonight. A lot of drivers not taking a qualifying time by the looks of it here. It looks like you have Eric Reinhardt, as mentioned there, starting in 8th. Drew Hirschku, making his first start here tonight in that 26th entry. I guess stealing Ryan's number. I'm not sure. I don't think he's 7 for him, but quite interesting there. So he's going to start off. He's going to start in that number 26th entry. In 9th, and you have Rusty Johnson in the 24. Remember, he had turned last week coming to the finish line with Brandon Wilson, so those two had a bit of an argument, and we might just see that potentially come into play in this race as Brandon Wilson is fighting for a championship spot, and Rusty Johnson is not. We never know what could happen. I don't think it could be much from that, but you never know, like I said. Then you have Price in 12th. 11th is Brandon Wilson. Then you have Jeffrey McConey, Timothy Moore, Blake Mosley, Greg McConey, Chris Etcheper, Ryan Keller, Nicholas Wynn, Anthony Alfredo, Jacob Fields, Cruising English Jr., Brian Buzar, Nathan Stewart, Jesse Fox, Corey Stansel, Jesse Fox. So another Fox. Jesse Fox, Jason Papp, Charles Silvis, Taylor Khan, who's got a 10-point advantage, all making out the field to start for tonight's action. And quickly, we're going to check information here at Talladega. 2.48 miles, track temperature 80 degrees, looking at Daytona Beach, Florida. And then the weather for tonight's race: 80-degree air temperature, 1 mile an hour, about 5 to 6 miles an hour east. Currently 0% humidity, 0% fog, and probably cloudy sky conditions for a great night of racing here. As the green flag is in a wave for chase race number 2 in the round of 12. Is underway here from Daytona in the iRacing East Series. Second laps at Daytona. About to get set off. Tommy Gossett in the number 3 pulls out to a pretty good lead as the current goes clear, it looks like, of the 15, or at least very close to it. Has the advantage, and now getting pushed by Bobby Hash. He will take over fully the race lead, but the 30 might try to make a move on him here. We'll just have to wait and see as they go up into 4th gear here down by straightaway. You have the full song. We got some guys dropping in the back, but it's pretty much a big mess back here as you see teammates right there. The 24, the 74, the 26 goes slow in front of them. It's going to cause them to really check up here And it might even cause them all to lose the draft. They might just have to draft together. So, interesting strategy as some of these guys towards the back, of course. Only one fastest pair, so might as well take that option of going to the back, and we'll just have to see how that works out for us. We got somebody pitting already here. Not sure if we got a black flag, but that's the 777 of Timothy Robb. He actually has some nose damage. We're going to try to take a look back and see what exactly caused that for the 777 already here on lap number 1. Looks like he was just coming down on pit road. I guess maybe got black flagged or something that got kind of loose, held on to it, and then under braking, he overshot and actually sped on pit road and then spun into the pit road wall pretty significantly. So that's going to cost him already here. Tough break for Timothy Pop in the very first lap, but he is, looks like maybe going to go a lap down after setting that black flag for speeding and whatever he pitted for in the first place. Got a car on the outside wall. It's cruising in his junior. Looks like he's going to hang on to it. So is there 3-1 on the aprons of contact right there? Anthony Alfredo and Brandon Wilson as they got together. Some pretty crazy things already happening here, but up front, it's pretty much single file. You see Jeff McConey up there on the outside pretty much got ditched and has no help from behind. So interesting racing going on here so far, and usually the Gen 6 turns out to be what we're seeing right here, which is all single file and pretty tame. Pretty much just already kind of turning laps, logging laps, and keeping it together. So looks like that's what we're seeing here tonight, as Jeffrey Price going to go up there along with Anthony Alfredo to get him behind that 76 of Jeffrey McConey. Remember Anthony Alfredo on the outside of Greg McConey, teammates right there along with Jeffrey McConey. As got the outside lane starting to form up here a little bit. Got a couple more guys. Brian Buzo looks like he was going to go up there, but decided better up, but he backed out of that. And he's going to probably maybe get a run in behind this inside lane since he's losing the draft on the outside. And the Cup cars don't exactly have the most easy package to deal with usually. It's pretty hard to get a run on somebody and try to make a, pull out a line and make a pass. As soon as you get out of line, you pretty much just stall out. But you see right there, the guys like Chris Edgepair, Greg McConey, and others pretty much just flew around those guys on the outside lane. That's the 13 right there, Nathan Stewart. As they got a huge run, the inside lane checked up quite a bit. But Tommy Gossett's still out front here at Talladega. We'll just hold on to the race lead, but here comes Jeffrey McConey getting pushed by Jeffrey Price up on the outside lane. A couple of Jeffreys working together as they're going to try to take the race lead away with help from Anthony Alfredo on that 54. As they got a pretty run off turn number 2 and down the back straight. The 76 almost gets spared. He might even get clear going into turn 3 here. And the 14 is not teammates with him, so he might just ditch him. It actually looks like he's going to stay lower to the outside lane for now. As they kind of come down and side drive a little bit. Anthony Alfredo gets a little bit squirrely, but he's hanging on to it. As we come off turn number 4 this time by a complete lap number 5. The 15 of Corey Smith jumps up there with those guys and ditches Bobby Hash and Tommy Gossett. So that's going to now give that lap lead to Jeffrey McConey, as he's on this race lead for now, but he might just go down in front of the inside lane. I'm not quite sure if that's the case, as Anthony Alfredo looked like he may have tried to take it a 3 wide. He's still going to try a little bit, but he's going to back out of that as the gap has been closed. Corey Smith right on his rear bumper. These guys are going to be easy, of course, to be careful of each other's corner panels and not to hit somebody in the wrong way and bumper hook him, as Jeffrey McConey and Jeffrey Price going to both drop down in front of Tommy Gossett right there, leaving out Jeffrey's teammate Anthony Alfredo up in the outside lane with Corey Smith and others up there. But of course, step by minute. Tommy Gossett's going to respond to the move to the outside, and the 30 machine gets first shot right there. But the 15 is the 14 of Jeffrey Price. Tries coming up in front of Tommy Gossett, but it's not quite clear. And he's going to have to stay in line behind the 76 for now, as he looks like he's actually going to get clear off turn number 2. You might just see that 14 jump up in front of the 3, try to take the race lead away. It looks like he's looking to do that. He's thinking about it, but is not quite ready to make that move yet. But now that 3 is side by side with the 15 of Corey Smith. So to see how this all plays out, is usually at Daytona, or usually in the plate tracks here in the Cup cars, it's pretty much just hold the bottom, and you see Tommy Gossett fill back in the line to try to get a draft there behind Corey Smith. It looks like he's kind of debating which lane he wants to be in, but he's going to jump down to the inside and kind of leave out the McConey Motorsports drivers right there to the outside lane. So 7 laps completed here so far from Daytona. And I want to let you know the Unreal Esports Super Truck Cup Series is right after this on LCTV. That's at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so not long at all after we jump out of here and get things settled for the round of round of 8, excuse me. As I did want to mention a couple of the sponsors here for the iRacing E Series. That, of course, being Express Auto Salon, along with DCH Crane, both longtime sponsors been all season. And then, of course, bottled up with Jeffrey McConey and Taz Racing Customs, all official partners of the iRacing E Series. And we thank them for their support through this league and everybody who races in it. And we appreciate everybody who's watching and typing in chat. As currently Jeffrey McConey and Jeffrey Price hold on to the race lead as we already get up to double digits for the lap counter. Right on board here with the number 3 of Tommy Gossett as he comes back in 4th place here. Yeah, pretty much the way to pass here on the outside is to basically you absolutely have to have people with you in pretty much any car here, unless you're really a master at side drafting. But you have to have a good 3 or 4 cars to go with you up in the outside lane, and you have to get right under the corner panel of the guy on the inside, get that side draft, pull you up further ahead, and then kind of break away and pull up further as you see Jeffrey Price on the apron for some reason. And now Tommy Goss looks like he's going to go to the outside, some contact, but they hang onto it. Jeffrey Price trying to get a lift back up on top of the racetrack as looks like he's going to go down in the apron, and that's going to make him fall all the way back to the back of this pack and then some. Still down here on the apron, that's going to make him lose the draft, but absolutely a fantastic save of the 14 at Jeffrey Price. I'm not quite sure why he kind of got pushed down to the apron down there, but unfortunately that's going to cost him a lot of time. But you see this second pack back here to the 23, the triple double 7, excuse me. You get the 28 entry there, the 119, the 26, then you have pretty much all teammates back here, the 90, 24, and the 74. And it looks like the front of the pack, Jeffrey McConey holds on to the race lead, and great driving there by pretty much all those guys. Corey Smith got into the back of Jeffrey Price when Jeffrey Price checked up because he was on the apron. We got a netcode wreck. That's going to be a huge crash. Bobby Hash into the catch fence. As we got another car upside down. It's a 29 machine. It looks like he had to land it back on all fours. You have the 93. He's got a bit of damage on that Chevrolet, and you see the rest of the pack in that second pack who were trying to avoid that come through at slow speeds. The 29 of Douglas Carlson went upside down, and Bobby Hash on the hot dog stand somewhere, I think. As they'll bring the first caution flag out. We had a couple near misses, and unfortunately that one's definitely not going to happen. I believe that was caused by somebody just kind of losing connection for a second and blinking out. And that caused all the mayhem right there. As look right here, about this third row, so we're going to look from the eye in the sky and the chopper camera here. And what you're going to see is you see the Bobby Hash right here on the inside lane. It's below that 5 entry. And as they come through turn number 1, it looks like he goes up the racetrack. And netcode, classic netcode. It seems to be a very common theme here at Daytona under the lights. I'm not sure if it's just iRacing service having trouble trying to do all the lights and whatnot, but he comes up the racetrack, doesn't touch the 5. The 5 gets turned, however, because of the registered contacts. Goes down the racetrack. Unfortunately, right hooks the 30 back of the track, straight in front of the path of the 29. And he gets launched all the way up into the catch fence, is stuck in the catch fence as most of the field goes by. He tries to get out of it, he can't, he has to tow back to pit road, and that's going to cost him at least a lap, if not 2. And obviously, he has to use his fastest pair as well. So definitely not a great way for Ollie Hash to start off the round of 12. As other drivers involved, such as Anthony Alfredo, and a run on board with the 12 of Greg McConey, as he was right behind this as well. And the Ford Racing Ford. And you see right here, about a row behind, the 54 has a connection issues with 5, gets turned by netcode, and straight into the path goes to 12 for McConey. In order to really go, he doesn't get too much damage actually out of it. As you see the 29 go upside down on top of his roof there. As a absolutely wild crash here at Daytona. As you see the contact right there behind the net code there between the 30 and the 5. And as the 30 goes up the racetrack and straight on into the outside wall, gets launched a good 20 feet in the air up in the catch fence to the 29. I'm not even sure how he really got flipped over here. Looks like he hits the 30, gets hit down the racetrack, goes up on 2 wheels, and as Anthony Alfredo gets hit by his teammate, he pretty much just kind of body slams the 29, excuse me, and knocks him all the way over onto his roof. He slides up the banking, and Jason Papp just makes it through. Looks like he hit him a little bit there. And as the 29 absolutely went for a heck of a ride there. As we're going to ride on board now with the 66 of Scott Leitner. As he had a pretty good angle of this as well. I do believe got just a little piece of the end of that there. Run on board now with the 66 of Scott Leitner, and you see the contact. He actually kind of waits a little while to get on the brakes, but he finally gets down on the brakes, and he just tags the 54, gets hit by the 7 Brian Bruiser, actually. Other than that, nothing too serious. I don't think he's going to have to use a faster pair. If he wants to save it, of course. He can still be competitive, I feel like, with that one, but we'll wait and see. It looks like he did, in fact, actually use his faster pair, so unfortunately he does not have another chance if he gets caught by another wreck. However, up front is that number 1 of Jason Papp, who had that pretty amazing miss of that crash there. I guess there was apparently some contact on pit road from seeing in chat there from Wesley Johnson. Okay, sure. Can't exactly find it here. Oh, looks like some contact between him and the 13 of Nathan Stewart. I remember these two raced each other and our teammates, actually, and both admins of the VASR Stock Car Championship. And yeah, I guess forgot he was the number 1 pit stall, and I think the 13 was coming out of his pit stall going on pit road, and the 3 was going into his pit stall, and then just they kind of came together right there. But I think it's only about 5-10 seconds of optional damage for both those cars, and especially probably nothing from it for the 13 is it was just right side damage for him, mostly damage to the left front of the 3 entry. But after we looked back at that, it looks like Jason Papp actually decided to head down pit road. At pretty much the last second there before we hit the green flag. Maybe trying to fill the car full of fuel and, of course, lead a lap for a bonus point. But that outputs the 7 and 10 of Eric Reinhardt with Corey Smith on his outside, both being on the front row. So then I'm back straight away at the pace car speed of 80 miles an hour. coming off of turn number 4 and through the short chute. Pace car makes his way down onto the safety of pit lane, and Eric Reinhardt with the field back to the green flag.
Green flag.
As green flag waves back away once again from Daytona. So past 15 laps as 66 on the outside did not get going at all. Scott Leitner having issues on the restart, and that's going to cost him a good 3 or 4 positions here, and that's also going to cost Corey Smith as he now has no drafting help from behind, and might be able to fall in line here behind the 33 on the inside. Maybe push 76 of Jeffrey McConey as he decided to jump up there. Whether this is 23, the 7, and 26 looks like in the back are going to drop out of the pack. Go back to the field, and where the safety place is pretty much Jesse Fox doing that also last second there. So it's a pretty interesting strategy. A lot of these guys know that there's only one fastest pair. We just had a huge wreck and wanted to play it safe for the rest of this race and avoid getting caught up and having to use that faster pair. And definitely a smart strategy for sure at the plate tracks. And as long as you do it correctly, you don't fall too far behind. You're able to get back up if it does go green a long way. Then you're pretty much in good position. As you see Tommy Gossett there pushing Jeffrey Price up to the back of the 15 machine, who's currently pushing Jeffrey McConey and actually pushing him across the line there to lead another lap. But Eric Conn right there, second line on the inside lane, pushing the 710 of Eric Reinhardt. Remember, he comes into this race with a 10-point advantage to the rest of the Chase drivers after his win last week at Talladega. Came up through the middle, 3 wide in the tri-oval, and unfortunately the 24 got turned across the line, but he was able to get around most of the other drivers and take on the victory there. So coming to this race with 2,010 points. And he's not one of the guys playing it super safe. Pretty much up here and racing for the race lead like you might expect some of these guys to be doing. And obviously everybody has their own opinions as to own strategies as to plate racing. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world. You have to avoid the crashes, put yourself in the right position at the end to get a good finish. And if it does come down to green flag pit stops, you're going to have the right strategy. Do you take 4 tires? You take 2 tires? You take no tires? And I know definitely the fastest way is to take no tires. As you see Corey Smith first ditch Jeffrey McConey there. He now has no drafting help in the outside lane as he's going to find a spot on the inside and push Eric Conn and Eric Reinhardt there out to an even further lead. So Jeffrey McConey going to be basically just sent to the back here unless he gets picked up by somebody. As you see, most of his teammates here, 12 of Greg McConey, his brother actually, Anthony Alfredo right there behind. So most of the 12 might let him in. Indeed he is. So his teammates working there as well. You see Timothy Papp up there in the outside lane by himself. Remember, he lap 1 actually spun coming onto pit road and sped at the same time. So he now finds himself pretty far behind the field, or at least the leaders anyway, and currently in 11th place. I see, oh, excuse me, that's actually Jeffrey Price. Currently in 10th place, so yeah, pretty good run after that crash coming on the pit road, and it looks like he used a fast break as front end and fixed, so unfortunately does not have the safety net like a lot of these guys do. But now McConey Motorsports, with the help of Nathan Stewart there, can't work together, and I can't tell. Oh, looks like actually Nathan Stewart has joined a part of McConey Motorsports, so McConey Motorsports growing even bigger as their 4 drivers now in tonight's race all working together in the outside lane, trying to get themselves to the front. With the 12 there, you see the damage on the nose of his Ford Fusion, slowing I think those guys down quite a bit, unfortunately. I got the 66 of Scott Leitner pulling out in front of them to try to get a run as well, and looks like outside lane is not working for these guys, as it looks like they're going to pull back down low and behind the inside pack. And now Scott Leitner actually going to get ditched there, as it looks like for the race lead. Taylor Khan pulls out to try to make a run at the 7 and 10, but does not get the backing he needs from behind, and he's going to also fall to this outside lane and pretty much fall to the back of this lead pack unless it gets picked up by somebody. So it's obviously very unfortunate for him. But again, coming into this race with 10 points, 10-point advantage of the rest of these drivers, and he did not get caught up in that first crash. So he still has a fast rear left as he tries to cut off the 54 Anthony Alfredo, but he's not quite clear to do so. And very close call, but luckily both of those drivers able to hang on to it and not cause a crash. As Gas looked like he was peeking to the outside, maybe they try to test to see if everybody would go with it, but now in front of him, Corey Smith looks like he's going to try to make a run on Eric Reinhardt for the race lead. And Tommy Goss is going to fall right there in behind him and help push him to the race lead. But now Jeffrey McConey pulls through a bumper of Eric Reinhardt to try to push him, and Greg McConey, with all that nose damage, holding up this inside lane. You can see the gap already kind of separating fourth from fifth place. It looks like Anthony Alfredo and Nathan Stewart, two of his teammates, pushing him up as Jeffrey McConey looks like he's gonna pull in behind Eric Reinhardt and pass Tommy Gossett. Corey Smith pretty much ditched Tommy Gossett, who helped with the race lead right there. So Tommy Gossett pushed the 15 to the lead, and he's gonna fall out of the back of this train here on the inside lane, basically along the 33 of Taylor Khan, as he's also still stuck up there. He's running board down with Nathan Stewart into that 13. As Motorsports trying to make a run here. Anthony Alfredo didn't get in line correctly, but now it looks like he's in the pull in line behind Greg McConey. And basically just no contact, and there goes Anthony Alfredo hard on the outside wall, and that's going to take out him along with, looks like, Timothy Papp, who, remember, did not have a fast rear left, so that's going to basically end his race. As you see, engine is blowing. More cars piling in. Got a 23, the one of Jason Papp. They got more in the back here. 119, the 28s, the 90. I'm not sure if he got involved or not. The 74 definitely did. Nicholas Wayne, and that is Timothy Moore getting some damage out of that one late as they kind of came up the racetrack, and really a lot of the guys in the back did not have anywhere to go. So crash number 2 here from Daytona. Got to take out some of these guys who were involved in the first crash or other crashes. So unfortunate. That's going to pretty much end their race here. As we were riding on board with the teammates there, and they were trying to make moves together, and I'm not sure if it just weren't coordinated together well enough or something, but you saw that contact there. Nathan Stewart into the back of Anthony Alfredo. I'm not sure. I think I know what happened. I think if you look here, Anthony got in the back of the 12. He checked up. The 13 went low to try to avoid. The 54 actually started coming down the racetrack at the same time. And I'm not sure if there was contact or not. It could have been netcode again, which would have been the second incident tonight being caused by netcode. But unfortunately, teammates of McConey Motorsports get together as the 13, the 54, Anthony Alfredo. And then very similar to the 30 in the last crash, that 54 shoots straight up the racetrack into the outside wall. This time, nobody hit him and T-bone him up into the wall, but then the 777, TBC Papp, he gets tagged in the corner panel. He goes head on to the outside wall as well. Taylor Khan absolutely dodged a bullet right there as he barely made it through around the spinning 777. And then coming into the wreck, a lot of these guys, the 23, the 1, were trying to avoid Anthony Alfredo along with the 90, the 119. And you can just see guys trying to keep their pace up to keep from sliding down the banking, as you see the 28 have to do there. And complete chaos basically after the wreck, and that's just a part of Daytona, is you can't get back going on the banking up there, and you see them trying to be avoided. And those are the 119 actually got stuck on the banking on the apron, and had to work extremely hard to get off the banking. I'm not sure if he did or not. Puts the car in reverse and gets it off of the banking, so pretty weird thing to have happen, but it's definitely pretty common here at Daytona. Is the banking is so tall that it's so hard to do stuff like that, and makes it look pretty silly, but it's definitely pretty tough you can't really get going on, 35 degrees of banking at a lead stop. But you see, the 54 gets turned, gets hit by the 13, shoots back up across the racetrack, spins around a couple times, and then gets hit there by somebody, and he rolls back up the racetrack, and I'm not quite sure why he went up the racetrack, if he let go of his steering wheel to avoid the carnage or what, but then goes back up the racetrack in front of traffic, and then causes more cars to get involved, like the 119, like the 23, like the 1, the 90, and others getting a piece of it. You're going to see, once again here, and the Ferrari going to hit there by the 29, Douglas Carlson, remember, who got involved in that first crash. Unfortunately for him, it's also going to end his race, as the 23 gets up into, tries to make it through here, Bobby Hash made it through, Rusty Johnson made it through in the bottom, then the 74 gets in his teammate, the 90 then hits the 54, and then the 54 gets out in the outside wall once again. The 28 and the 119 also making contact, and I'm curious to see, if you look from the chopper camera here, if we can see whether or not it was netcode, or whether the 13 just got into the back left corner panel here of that the 54, and you see the 13 goes below him. I can't tell, the 13 kind of blends in the racetrack a little bit, but if it was contact, it was the slightest tiny bit of contact that hooks him around. We're right on board once again here with the 13. We're doing this live, but we're right on board with the 13, Nathan Stewart. And, yeah, that was, I'm guessing that it looked like it was contact, but it was just so tiny, such light contact. You see the 54 just kind of get turned sideways, and unfortunately hit a car below him now. That's going to cause him to get hit back up the racetrack, and you see the car behind Tommy Gossett just making it through that. We are going to ride on board with the 33 of Taylor Khan, as he had a heck of a job at missing that accident there. The contact right there, then he goes around, and somehow he just missed 54, then the 777 spin around up the racetrack, and he makes it through that as well. So great wreck avoidance there by him and Cruiser Hernandez Jr., as you see the rest of the carnage out from behind. So we're going to go signal this time by, as we are currently almost halfway through this one on lap 29. We're going to restart on lap 30 here. Look on pit road here. See Jason Papp. He's going to take some tires. Anthony Alfredo looks like he's either still towing, or he used his fast spare from the first crash. I'm not quite sure which. I don't remember. Rusty Johnson taking tires and fuel to pull out his pit stall just ahead of Jason Papp. Jason Papp actually going to pass him. Bobby Hash, for some reason, was on pit road there, it looked like, as well. There comes off of now. There's a 90 of Nicholas Wayne rolling off of pit road as well. Timothy Papp still somehow on this racetrack. His car, I guess his engine somehow got repaired. It was smoking. I don't know how it didn't. It wasn't like a half an hour of required repairs. He has no front end, pretty much no front end, and he has no rear end. The axle looks broken, the toe looks knocked out of it, but he's going to keep that thing on the racetrack at all costs. So, I don't think it's going to work out for him now. And as a couple guys now got taken out because of these crashes, we're going to take a look at the chase here, great chase rating one more time. These are the point standings coming into this race. So far, I do not believe anybody on the list besides Brian Worley, who did not make it to this race here tonight, has been taken out of the race. So it's good news for all the chase drivers at least. This is McConey Motorsports front row, as Jennifer McConey and Greg McConey lead the field back to the green flag. Remember that 12 with all that front end damage, going to sack the whole inside lane up, and definitely going to cause a lot of checkup as they get back to the green. Maybe some damage, and they got some guys going 3-4 wide in the back. Everybody is trying to find a way around the mess, as it looks like everybody's going to sort it out. We do not have a crash or any like contact to speak of. We see the damage there on the back end of the 5 and the front end of the 15 as they kind of got pushed into each other there, and basically a huge stack up from the inside lane because of that 12 being so damaged. And it's going to leave these 4 cars kind of get away. Jeffrey McConey, Jeffrey Price, Tommy Goss, and Taylor Khan. And got a little bit of a gap back here to the double 007 car of Jacob Fields. And then you have right behind him Charles Silvis, Chris Ingles, Corey Smith, Eric Reinhardt in that pack. So a lot of this field now is spread out because of that kind of jumbled up restart. So pretty much a 4-car breakaway at the moment, as we have 40 laps to go here, and just 5 laps we'll be halfway through this race. Single file up front. So this 007 and 28 entries are catching this lead pack, as you see. Tandem drafting working out well for both of these guys. As the 28 was going to let off the gas there, as you heard, and that's going to cost them a little bit of time that they were gaining there on those front 4 cars. And usually you don't see 2-car tandems work very well at Daytona and Talladega, in the Cup cars at least. Like I said, the draft package is really odd and not, of course, the greatest in most people's opinions. And they're pretty much right in between this lead pack and the second pack back here with Eric Reinhardt, Corey Smith, and others. So they might just maybe catch this lead pack, or they might get caught by the second pack. And I feel like all of these guys are going to pretty much regain each other at some point in this run and get hooked back up into a pretty good sized lead pack. But they're racing each other back here. The 66, 26, and 23, and the 13 all going to work around to the 5. And the 5 pretty much let out to dry right there by the whole pack. And it's down to the 26. Pushing that 66 Scott Lander ahead of him. And so Nathan Stewart decided he's going to try to fall in line behind us. You got TBT Pop right there in that extremely damaged 777 Toyota Camry Mel Yellow on the hood of that race car, at least what is left of the hood of that race car, as he's trying to go down the apron. But again, some major toe and suspension issues for that 777. Going to go really, really slow here on the apron. Get a harm's way. Great job by him to do that. Their teammates working together back here. Trying to save the trouble. Ryan Broussard out of the draft. Ruben Coney looks like he actually decided to head down pit road and take a faster pair after that restart. So he has lost all the drafting help. Does not have a faster pair left, and now finds himself 1 lap down in 23rd as Douglas Carlson kind of getting pushed by Bobby Hash. He's the first car 1 lap down. Bobby Hash actually is 2 laps down after that crazy accident he had going to the catch fence and having to tow. So unfortunately for him, that's going to knock him quite a ways behind. As now it's like the battle for the race lead, and at least his lead pack kind of picking up as Tamagasa tried on the outside to make some spots up, but he's going to get ditched and now falls in behind the front 3, but actually kind of losing the draft, as you usually see that happen in the Cup cars. The last guy in the pack kind of just loses the front 2's draft, and now Eric Reinhardt and Corey Smith, tandem drafted, they're going to pass the other 2 guys, the 007 and the 28, as they're kind of also over to bumper and tandem drafting. So field's still pretty spread out after that restart, and they're just trying to get hooked back up together once again here. Sayre Khan goes to the top of the racetrack there. I'm not quite sure if he's going to try to push the 14 there, or he's trying to fake out the 14. I'm not quite sure why he did that, but he's going to fall back in line nevertheless. As we come across that finish line, and we're 1 lap past halfway, and take a look at the race summary here so far from Daytona. As so far 36 laps completed, 34 remaining. One had 7 lead changes, but that is in the Cup car. So usually leader holds on to it for quite a long time. Only 2 caution flags so far here. And they've been pretty huge accidents, though, so it's taking a lot of these guys out of the race or put them behind. But currently, Eric Reinhardt, Corey Smith, and Tommy Gossett trying to look for a way around the 14, and 2 Jeffries on the inside, pretty much the 14 and the 76, as Tommy Gossett leading the outside train with the 15 has that nose damage from that restart, and that's going to cost him a little bit of speed here as they go flying past 777 there once again. Hopefully he's able to keep that car up towards the outside wall on the apron wherever he goes, because that thing is extremely damaged and it looks like it is really hard to handle and hang on to. It looks like it is going to get around him safely, however. And this lead pack now up to about 6 cars, as the second pack still back here. 26-23 have caught these guys, but pretty much 2-car tandems, and some guys even getting separated here towards the back of this pack, as you see right there. And actually the 90 machine of Vipas Bueno, okay, I guess they just had to pop in right there, but this team working together. They're going to pass a couple of lap cars here, Travis Carlson and Bobby Hash. And you see Brian Buzar and Kurt Piccone still by themselves, but if the pack stays like this, pretty much spread out and only a couple of cars together in a pack, besides this half a dozen cars up here in for the lead, pretty much just gonna see probably green flag the rest of the way. We're not surprised. And of course, if that was the case, we're gonna see some more green flag pit stops like we saw last week. But unfortunately, a caution came out during the middle of them and kind of shook the field up, put some guys a lap down. But you're gonna see more green flag pit stops here from Daytona, as next time that'll get 30 laps to go. Oh, contact. Taylor Kahn into the back of Jeffrey Price, and Corey Smith got in the back of the 33 as well. And somehow they all managed to hang on to it. Great driving there by those 3 to keep their cars in control. And that's going to cost a little bit of time. They're going to catch right back up the rear bumper of Jeffrey McConey, and they're trying to push him back out to the race lead. Now Corey Smith, he may have actually lost a draft because of that. And it looks like he has. I do not believe he's definitely out of the draft at this point, so he's going to have to fall back to that second pack back there. So now the wheels are lead pack down to just 5 cars, but the second pack being 4 cars into that single file line, and what will probably be soon to be 5 cars with Corey Smith getting involved, they might just be able to catch this lead pack, as they're kind of battling for position and side-by-side and racing, making contact that we saw right there. So if these guys don't crash, you're probably going to see them get caught by the second group back here, as you see Brian Russo now go a lap down on the apron there out of harm's way with some damage and drafting up. And you see Robert Coney just ahead of these guys, not too far ahead, as he's going to cross the start-finish line right there. And then back here, Jeffrey McConey, his teammate, going to cross that finish line right there. So not a ton of time, about, say, 5 seconds at the most before they catch that 12 entry who had a pit there under caution, soon under green flag to fix his car. He's already a lap down, and there's the caution flag. It's going to be out for 8 of Cruz Hernandez Jr., one of your chase drivers with looks like some pretty significant damage. I'm not pretty sure. Looks like his engine is still running, so he's going to limp around the racetrack and head to pit road here. But unfortunate for the number 8 machine, Cruz Hernandez Jr. Remember, won 4 races earlier this season, and that number 8 Chevrolet Camaro Z01 is tore up. As that been the third caution flag the race out, and I did not honestly expect to see a caution come out for the rest of the race, unless it was with about 6 laps to go, because of the fact that we were single file and pretty much the whole field is spread out. But we're going to take a look back and see what exactly caused this caution by the 8 machine. He's going to fall. He's behind the 1 Jason Pappen. He's kind of swerving back and forth. Not sure what happened there, but he's going to spin it down on the pit road, kills the cone, slides all the way through the grass, and then spins it up onto the racetrack. Backs in the outside wall hard, gets hit by the 5 a little bit, looks like. And a hard hit for the 8 of Cruz Hernandez Jr. and a very wacky crash here from Daytona. And you see right here, it comes out of the corner, and he just kind of swerves right and left a little bit. I'm not sure if the car got kind of sideways. He doesn't even lift. He gets his foot in it, and he spins it around onto the racetrack and brings out the caution flag. He's hit with the 5 a little bit. So, I'm not really sure what happened there. Not gonna lie, it looked a little bit intentional, but I don't feel like that would be the case. But definitely a wacky crash here from Daytona. As that left Chevrolet just spun on to kill the cone. He didn't let off the gas until right about here. He spins out onto the racetrack and backs in the outside wall. The 5 avoids as best he can, but gets a little piece of him. So, wacky crash here from Daytona. To put us under the 3rd caution flag of the race. You see a lot of guys heading on pit road, but Tommy Gossett going to stay out and in the race lead. But we're going to take this opportunity now to go to our first commercial break of the night. We're right back for the rest of the action here tonight from Daytona.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Alfala is $10,500 richer. 2-time NASCAR. Is your 2013 NASCAR iRacing done? It's going to be Humpy winning the race, and it's going to be Conti taking away his first NASCAR.
2017 NASCAR Beginner Free Series Championship to Ryan Luza. Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Beginner Free's iRacing Series.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. Okay, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
Back live here to Daytona. It's back to the green flag. They get things back in the way here. Just a little under 25 laps to go from Daytona in the iRacing Series. Green flag going to come back out for Tommy Gossett and Jason Fields on the front row. We get back up to speed. Remember last restart, huge checked up in the inside lane with the 12 caused most of the field to get spread out, but this time nobody is damaged in the front. Like significant damage. It's going to pretty much literally stay in the lead pack, and for all the guys who are dropping to the back early in the race, it's almost go time, I'd say so, with just over 20 laps to go. And you see the outside lane getting a huge head of steam here. The the 007, I keep saying triple. 007 there. Jason Fields working with the 28 of Silvis there. As they're actually going to pass the 3 of Tamagasu, who has no drafted help from behind to lead this lap. Gonna go through 2 turns 1 and 2 here once again. The top 3 on the outside lane not dropping down yet as 26 isn't clear. Jeffrey Price going to fall in line now behind Tommy Gossett and try to draft with him, as we might just see the 28 make a run at the race lead now. Thought about it, decided better of it, but you might do it going into turn number 3 here with wait and see. 26 almost gets clear as well. 28 running the very top of the racetrack, so kind of slow them down just a little bit. Kind of surprised nobody in the outside lane decided to drop down, as 26 almost taking 3 wide right there to the middle. 007 is gonna hold the outside lane here and hold the race lead for now, and not showing any signs of dropping down in front of the 3 of Tamagotchi. Now finds his way battling back for the race lead now after getting drafted out from behind. Gonna make sure to the other 28 glued to the rear bumper of that 007, and now we've got ourselves a race at the front of the pack. No single file at all. And these guys getting pretty racy, knowing that it's going to be 20 laps to go here in just a blink of an eye. For the back of this pack, you have to try to get yourself at the front. And of course, there is probably going to be another crash. The guys that are fastest are in pretty big danger here. And that's just a part of it. Tommy Gossett is going to take back the race lead now, getting pushed by Jeffrey Price in that 14. He's right on board with him. This time by, we go through turns number 3 and 4. We get 20 laps to go now from Daytona as across the finish line. Tommy Gossett, Jeffrey Price clear the outside lane. 20 laps to go now from Daytona. Just 30 miles left. Excuse me, 50 miles left of racing. I can do math, don't mind me. And so far, just double file up at the front of the pack. It looks like we got a slow car ahead. Tell you who that was. Looks like that's Timothy Pop again with all that damage. He's going to go to the very top of the racetrack. Again, very risky, and he's actually going to scrape along the wall to try to help steer the car and not turn down into the lead pack there. But still, as Jeffrey Price was, he's actually going to jump up in front of that 007 Ford Fusion. They try to go for the race lead. Corey Smith now gets the rear bumper of Tommy Gossett with Jeffrey McConey and others. Chris Engels behind. Along with Chris Edgefair, I know I've talked about him much at the front of the field here tonight. He's been mostly one of those guys riding towards the back. But now, Corey Smith makes a run to the outside as Tommy Gossett has the connection issues there. On board now with Jeffrey McConey, and actually we have a gyro cam with this 76 machine. See how much the banking is here at Daytona. I mean, this camera is pretty much just not being affected. It's not connected to the car. It's just basically on hinges, and so it's always facing flat. You just see how much the car goes up as it goes up on the track in the corners. Even the straightaways are a little bit banked here, especially the front stretch, of course, of that tri-oval, but in the back stretch, there's a little bit of banking. It looks pretty flat, but there is slight banking. As we're getting up to 15 laps to go here very shortly. As this field is getting pretty stacked up in the outside lane. We just have to be careful, give each other room, check up when the time is needed to. As here comes now Jeffrey McConey going to pull out in front of that 15 Napa Chevrolet and try to get himself pushed to the race lead ahead of Tommy Gossett. As we're side by side heading into turn number 1. That's the lane, very close corners. Watch that bumper hook, and the Xfinity cars is the worst for that, so it's definitely good that we're in these Cup cars here tonight, but it's still not out of the realm of possibility to get in up for corner panels. You see Corey Smith push Jeffrey McConey to the race lead and actually fall in line behind him there while jumping down to the inside lane. So great job with both of those guys working together and communicating probably. As you see now, Jeffrey Price trying to work his way up there as well. Tommy Gossett might jump up in front of him. Indeed, he does. Tommy Gossett gets past there as he's on the inside lane. They go to the outside, pass him. He's going to respond by going back to the outside and trying to pass them right on back. And what they call a leapfrog here. And it usually happens quite a bit at the plate tracks. That's Tommy Gossett going to try to get pushed by that 14 at Jeffrey Price. As this time by, we'll get 15 laps to go from Daytona. It's going to be door to door, and nobody really has the advantage right there going to turn number 3. But now, as through the corner, the inside lane is faster, but coming off the corner, as long as they get the run they need and usually get, the outside lane gets a huge run. And then down the straightaways is going to carry through down the straightaways, so that usually that's where the outside lane excels. Is the 15 almost got in the back left corner pen right there. Jeffrey McConey, got to be very careful about that, of course, as we have only 15 laps to go now from Daytona. Not a ton of time. If you're at the back of this pack, you need to get towards the front. And remember, this could end under caution. Within 5 laps to go, the race will end on the yellow flag. And if it comes out with 6 to go, we get a 1-lap shootout with no caution. So it's definitely, as we saw last week, actually, at Talladega, we have caution going with 6 laps to go. We got a 1-lap shootout. And we saw that chaos that happened there. Jeff McConey going to lead them across the stripe one more time. As the top 2, almost 3 now, get clear of the outside lane, so you might see somebody try to pull up in front. I think Corey Smith's probably going to wait to get past the 777 here once again. Probably going to wait until the if the outside lane is to get next to him here. Tommy Gossett gets a pretty good run right there off turn number 2, but I think off turn number 4 here is we might see the 15 jump up in front of Tommy Gossett because of the fact that he's right there behind. You can kind of just pull up, get that run, and get around the 76. I'm not quite sure if Tommy Gossett was close enough to the corner panel for him to make that move, though, as we get just 13 laps to go now from Daytona. You might just see, as long as this 3 holds that pretty much that spot right there and gets behind that 15. I think right here, if they fall back enough, which it does not look like they actually will. So Tommy Gossett, Jeffrey Price, and others doing a great job at side drafting here. They might be able to have a shot at the race leader. Actually, it's Tommy Gossett, a pretty good run by Jeffrey Price, gets pushed up. Not quite enough to lead this lap, but definitely very close. And now is side by side with that 76 machine for the race lead as we go into turn number 1 here once again. 12 laps to go now from Daytona. Just the laps continue to wind down, and I feel like we might see another caution within the final 10 laps. But it's going to be interesting to see how these guys all make it work, as Jeffrey Price pushing that 3 machine, trying to get him to the race lead, but just not able to quite get the job done. As they're going to kind of slow up a little bit now. The 15 gets ahead for second, and he might, this right here, might be the move. 15 very Smith not quite clear the 3s in his rear corner pin right there. And did not allow the 15 to jump up if he wanted to do so, at least anyway. As Eric Reinhardt kind of hitting the apron back there a little bit. Actually going to get taken 3 wide as the 23 machine goes through the middle. And the 28 on the outside almost got on the outside wall right there, but they're going to sort themselves out, go back down to just double file. As Jeffrey Price actually got around the 3 of Tommy Gossett, ditched him on the outside lane. Is going to set him with the 007 and 23 now as he goes to the inside lane, and we get 10 laps to go across the stripe this time by. Top 3 all single file, and may even be 4 now. It's 26 and 23 both inside a fall line now behind Eric Reinhardt. So now 007 might just jump in front of 710 if possible. We have 10 laps to go now from Daytona. Tommy Gossett, unfortunately, does not have the help he needs from behind, but now in front of him, Jeffrey Price and Chris Ingles looking to try to make a run at this race lead, as that's not going to work out for the 007. Going to ditch them, go down low. Tommy Gossett did the exact same thing the 14 did to him. Ditch him, go down low, and now the 23 managed to get around all those guys somehow as he came through out of the middle, and he's charging his way up to the front of this pack. There's a great drive in there out of that 23 entry. As that is the 23 of Blake Mosley. Some aggressive driving, but that's exactly what you need to do to try to get the victory here at Daytona. As the single file at the front, not usually what you see, but now the 23, Blake Mosley trying to make a run to the outside, getting pushed by that 3 of Tommy Gossett and the 007 as well. And you see back here in this pack, Jeffrey Price followed in the back of the second pack, as these guys are going to try to get single file, sort themselves out. As you see Fox go lap down there on the apron. So these guys are going to try to get single file, sort themselves out, get back into this lead pack, and they're trying to shake things up as Corey Smith's pushing Jeff McConey for all he's worth right now, as we get just 8 laps to go from Daytona. And 23 making some great moves, but unfortunately for him, the 007 is going to ditch the outside lane, and now it's pretty much just him and Tommy Gossett working together, trying to side draft and trying to get themselves ahead. They're on board with this 3 machine. He actually has just barely found a slot to slide himself in behind the 15. As you see, they're going to go a lap down, but they're almost 3 wide behind. Everybody has to sort themselves out to get around. Almost some contact right there, as now Tommy Gossett jumped in behind Corey Smith. The 23 of Blake Mosley is now going to lose that spot. And he's still trying on the outside, like getting pushed there by Jason Fields, but unfortunately for him, it's not going to be enough. But this time by, it's 7 laps to go. And so we only have 2 laps left of racing before a caution would come out and end the race. Unless, of course, we get a caution right now. So interesting to see if we do get the yellow here, and everybody's pretty much single file. Got some aggressive moves in the back straightaway, though. It's a 26, 23, almost shopping, and Chris Ingles right there, but luckily for him, he listened to his spotter and stood back the racetrack, and they're getting themselves all sorted out. But now the 26 working up here as well, that being the Ford driven by Drew Herchku and the new drivers. In that 26th century, trying to push Tommy Gossett to the race lead. Doing a pretty good job at that, as it's just 6 laps to go here. As they come off of turn number 2 now down by straightaway, the 23 Blake Mosley now has a big gap between him and the 26 and him and the 007. So that's the outside lane not quite formed up as well as it should be or needs to be to make a run. As this time by, it's going to be the lucky number of 5 laps to go from Daytona. Now we're in the window. If a caution flag comes out, ends the race. Corey Smith slides way up the racetrack and gets in front of the 3. There's contact. Chris Ingles into the grass. Jeffrey Price gets in the back of him. Somehow nobody crashed. Great driving by everybody there to avoid that, as it was pretty much just the 15 barely getting clear of the 3 of Tommy Gossett. Just threw it off the racetrack in front of him. Tommy Gossett didn't like it, tried taking it 3 wide. Wasn't clear, hit the 5 of Chris Ingles, knocked it on the racetrack, and it was just a chain reaction, but somehow everybody hands on to it. Now Corey Smith actually gets the race lead out of that, as he's not going to get challenged though with the 26 and the 23 working out on the outside. Chris Echeper up here in this battle as well. One of the chase drivers along that 76 of Different McConey, and I think only 2 chase drivers actually at the very front of this pack. As this contact of McConey down into the grass. As he save it, he tags the 3 of Tanakasa, and he somehow hangs onto it. So 2 super close calls back to back there in the trial. But now it's going to be a 3 wide of the race lead almost. Some intense racing, but if they can make it all the way around and not bring a caution flag out, I'm going to be absolutely astonished. The fact we have not seen a caution flag this run is absolutely amazing after what we just saw right there. So now, that kind of separated the front pack from the second pack once again. Jeffrey McConey, Chris Ingles, Brandon Wilson, Eric Reinhardt, Jeffrey Price back here now. Lost the lead pack. The 28 right there, pushing the 3 of Tamagasi. These guys also kind of losing this lead pack as we get just 3 laps to go from Daytona. 26 just pushed to the race lead there. Hirschku looking to try to take this win in his first career start. Blake Mosley right there in his rear bumper. As the 26 jumped down in front of the 15 of Corey Smith and to defend the inside lane. It's not like he's going to do so. So Corey Smith, can he push by Chris Echeper? Looks like he might be able to get big enough a run. Chris Echeper actually going to ditch him, goes to the outside, and it's going to hurt Corey Smith now. As this time by, 2 laps to go. The final opportunity for a caution flag to come out at all, as there is no caution flags on the white flag. So as they come through turns number 3 and 4, single file up front. Actually, single file pretty much through this entire pack. As we get just 2 laps to go now from Daytona. When does these guys make their move? I feel like the 23 and 007 are going to work together, and they're going to pass this 26 on the last lap here. But I also have a feeling we're going to see the caution flag come out. Everybody's aggression picks up even more. As you see back in the pack, some guys trying to pass each other, but they just don't have a big enough of a run to pass, to catch this lead pack as Chris Echeper on the apron. The 007 gets turned. Justin Fields gets turned out into the inside wall, and that's going to end his chances of the victory here tonight at Daytona. Unfortunately for him, he's having a great run and definitely up there in the thick of things. But off turn number 4, the 26, Zeno Hirschku going to lead the field to the white flag. No more caution flags going to come out. White flag waves here from Daytona. Just one more time around for the 26. Can he hold off this 23 in the rest of the hungry pack here? First chase driver currently is that 38 Chris Echeper back in 4th place. He's going to move on to the next round where he finishes right now, but he wants to get his 10 bonus points heading into next week as he tries to look for a championship 4 spot. Down by straightaway, here comes the move of 23. Does he make it off turn number 4? Looks like he's going to get bumper hooked by the 15 of Corey Smith. He goes down into the grass, goes back up to the racetrack. He tags the 15 and the 14, and they'll actually save onto it. As here comes off to number 4, Corey Smith makes a run to the outside. He gets put in the wall by the 26. Contact. Chris Echeper down through the grass. Is he winning? Yes, he does. Chris Echeper, your winner from Daytona. He wrecks it after the finish, but that doesn't matter. And out of all of that, the Valvoline Chevrolet brings it home here from Daytona in the grass. Does it get much more crazy than that? Chris Echeper, your winner here from Daytona. One of the chase drivers, we've only one out of about 3 in the top 5 or so, as he's going to bring it home with the win. And it's truly the fact that there was no caution there to end the race, the fact that the 38 was able to hang on to it after all that contact is truly amazing. And we're going to look back at all the carnage there that kind of took place in the last couple laps. Did not burn out the yellow because it's in the white flag or etc. As you see 33 there, Taylor Kong, a little bump there as congratulatory hit to the 38. As he's going to come around and start finish line and burn him down. But absolutely fantastic racing here from Daytona, pretty much all race long, and somehow, amazingly, the 38 got turned over, just pretty much wrecking each other coming to the finish. But he was able to hang on to it and take the victory. 10 bonus points for him going into the round of 8. As he looks forward to trying to making the round of 4 and battle for a championship. As he's going to do some celebratory donuts now on the front straightaway. Chris Echeper, your race winner. Going to burn him down from Daytona. There's some donuts down on the grass. We're in finishing a race. I guarantee you, out of all the wins he's won this season, I think, actually, this is only a second win of the season, but definitely this overrules the other one. As we're going to take a look back at everything that happened there at the end, those last couple laps. First, let's take a look back at what happened to the 007 of Jacob Fields. Excuse me for calling him Jason Fields this whole time. My apologies for that. As it looks like, we'll go from the chopper camera here. He's in line behind the 23, gets actually pushed at the racetrack with the 15 of Corey Smith, and then as he's checking up, he pretty much gets dumped by the 15 of Corey Smith, so that's unfortunate for him, and he goes around, hits the tire barriers, and spins around. So that was the first part of that. And then the 23 of Blake Mosley. You see right here, down the back straightaway, he's going right in line behind the 26. He kind of just checked up and ran into gas or something, actually. I thought he just kind of got bumper hooked, but he actually had some sort of issue. I'm going to try to see if we can't ride on board with him here and hear the engine. There was no smoke out of the engine, just like he blew up. Yeah, I guess he just ran out of gas. He goes up the racetrack into the 5, the 14, the 501, and the 710 of Eric Reinhardt. Eric Reinhardt actually loses his hood. Then, while that's all going on, up front, you have the 38 of Chris Echeper just on glued to the rear bumper, 15 of Corey Smith. And then, obviously, what I thought was going to be the winning mover here, the 15 comes up, and the 26 tries to throw a block. He's not clear. They make contact. 15 gets put in the outside wall. And then after he hits the outside wall, I'm not sure if he just bounced off of it. 26 actually still was sideways after the contact. It gets in the rear corner panel. The 26 hooks him around. Meanwhile, you see the 38 here of Chris Echeper. He actually gets turned. He actually kind of comes up across the nose a little bit. After Tommy Gossett, he's going sliding down through the grass. And look at how close this finish is. Chris Echeper actually made it onto the racing surface across the line. But wins it here, hits the wall a couple times after the finish, trying to hang on to it. He managed to save it, too. As this, what a wild ride here from Daytona. Actually, we're going to go on board with Chris Echeper here for the last lap. I said Talladega again, didn't I? Daytona. Apologies for that. As you see, 23 go down the grass right there. He goes around him on the outside. Gets right at the rear bumper, of course, but actually pushes him through the corner. Not really hear that very much. Gets this huge run of 26. 26 throws a block. He goes down low, gets clipped with the 3 just a little bit, goes down through the grass, comes across the finish line, and picks up the win at Daytona, puts himself into the round of 8, now has 10 bonus points heading into the round of 4, or at least trying to get into the round of 4. But as that whole craziness was going on, some other guys like Jeffrey McConey makes it into a solid third-place finish. Jeffrey Price in 5th. Brandon Wilson in 6th. Daniel Kevin Chase. Eric Reinhardt in 8th. Scott Leitner 9th. And Taylor Kahn in 10th. So at the top 10, you had 7 chase drivers. So only 3 non-chasers actually at the front. A little bit more than I thought. But just, wow, absolutely crazy racing out there. So now I'm going to get awarded with your top few finishers here from Daytona. First up, the 76 entry of Jeffrey McConey. As we're going to bring the back of this booth now. Jeffrey McConey, got a copy.
Yes, I do. And I need to mute the broadcast. Okay. Oh, boy.
You want to hear an echo?
No, I'm good, but wow, what a race, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Jeffrey, you managed to pull off an amazing feat. You led over half the race here at Daytona, which is pretty hard to do, of course, at a plate track. And you had a little bit of passing going on. You actually led 40 out of the 70 laps completed here tonight. So,
no kidding.
Pretty dominant performance by you, obviously. You're up front all race long, and you bring home a solid third-place finish. Obviously, unfortunate you didn't get the victory here tonight, but you move on to the next round of the chase as you look forward to try to get into the Championship 4. But just the race as a whole, we saw only 3 cautions, here tonight. 2 of them caused by net code, and just explain to me those last few laps as everybody was getting turned down to the grass. Some guys were running out of fuel, it seemed like, and just chaos there in the last couple laps. Just tell us how you made it through that all and you're able to get a podium finish here tonight.
It was absolutely unbelievable. It really came down to strategy where I got lucky where that last caution came out when it did, so I got enough fuel in there. And my goal was stay at the front and run the pack. The 15 jumped out on me. We had made like a temporary alliance, same with the 14, and he jumped out to the outside because he saw a run, and I fell all the way back, and I thought I was done there. I was back in like 10th, I think it was, or 9th, and I ran it forward, just stayed on the gas. I think the 28 ran out of fuel. Someone else, the 15, blew up, I heard, and I just stayed on the gas. I saw that wreck coming in front of me, and I saw the guys going everywhere. And we had actually Anthony Alfredo acting as a sort of spotter. And I hear, oh no. And he goes, go low. So I take it low and, dodged the wreck. And it was, finished third somehow. I thought the 3 won it originally. I didn't even see Chris come back across. But yeah, the last couple laps was absolute mayhem.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw it directly behind you there when you were still in the lead coming through the trial, like back-to-back laps. We saw a lot of guys get together and almost crash, and somehow they're all able to hang on to it, and we stayed green to the finish. And, of course, we had a couple crashes during the last lap, but no caution flag comes out then. And, of course, being one of the chase drivers, 38, winning the race here, gets 10 bonus points for the next round, so he puts himself ahead of the field, but still... the rest, you and the other 6 drivers all tied for points as you look forward to try to get to the championship 4. What are your plans for next week and how do you feel like your chances are?
Well, most of my plans revolve around my teammates. Actually, I think I'm the only one left in the chase. I believe Greg got eliminated. So I'm the only one left. I'm going to have to rely on them, work with some of the other guys, the 15, probably the 14, work with other teams. Luckily, I'm friendly with Chris. He's the one that brought me into this league, so I'm able to work with him, and I know he's in a good position now, and I wish I was him, but that's life. We're going to keep working with teammates because you can't run a plate track by yourself. So basically, plan is keep the car up front is the goal, and just run it safe, keep that faster pair if we ever need it, and be there at the end. That's what counts. A top 4 finish guarantees me a spot in the last round if it's a top 8 chase finish. So top 4 finish, I'm happy.
Absolutely, and of course, Cindy, shout out to the sponsors you want to give here after your pretty amazing performance here tonight at Daytona.
Well, absolutely. This week we brought on a couple new sponsors. Greystone is now on the car. McConey Motorsports has moved to a secondary sponsor, and our primary sponsor is Martin Vintage. They do Purdue Apparel, martinvintage.com, some of the best stuff. I work with them with my other racing team. Just the best guys you can possibly imagine. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be able to keep racing and doing what we love. So absolutely shout out to Martin Vintage and DCH Crane and Taz Racing Customs. I'd like to give a shout out to my own podcast and radio show, Bottled Up, on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, anywhere else where you can think of listening to podcasts. I'm there. But sponsors are what keep us moving. Thanks to again to DCH Crane for letting us run this league. And that's about all I got to say.
And of course, it seems like you're actually the sponsor of this round, so obviously a good thing you moved on, of course. That'd be pretty embarrassing otherwise. But
well,
Coney.
Last week, Taz Racing Customs sponsored the round, and he got eliminated. So we was afraid, we were worried it was cursed and that I would be eliminated, but it looks like it all worked out.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. Hey, Jeffrey, congratulations on 3rd, and we'll see you here next week in the round of 8.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. So that was the driver of the number 76. We should hear from McConey finishing off in a podium finish tonight in 3rd place. And now the driver of the number 3 machine, Tamagasi. Tamagasi, got a copy. Tamagasi, got a copy.
Yes, sir, I do.
So, Tommy, I think you're about 4th place there as you were going through turns number 3 and 4, and somehow you barely lost and was pretty much a photo finish there at the end when it was all said and done, and led 12 laps here tonight, started on pole, so a great run for you, obviously making your first start in this series, the best of my knowledge. Absolutely chaos there in that last 5 or so laps. You saw a lot of guys get together and almost wreck, and somehow you were able to keep it together there into the last lap where we saw most of the carnage, but you were able to get through it all and almost get the victory here tonight, but a good 2nd place finish for you. Just stuck with that race as a whole.
Oh man, that race was fun. I enjoyed myself from start to finish. I'm not a big fan of this car at plate tracks, but it was a lot of fun considering everything. Had fun racing with these guys. It was a very enjoyable night coming from the back. That incident on pit road gave me a little bit of damage at the beginning, but we were able to come back through and get the second place.
And start with that. Talk me through the last lap there. Of course, you kind of fell back after I think some contact, about 2 or 3 to go, and you were kind of that second pack a little bit, trying to catch that first pack. So obviously you're a little bit behind, trying to catch back up, and just that last lap there, we saw the 23 run out of gas or something there, and you kind of get turned onto the apron in the grass and wreck some guys behind you. And then in front of you, the 15, the 26 got together trying to make a run for the win. And then you and the 38 made some contact, and the 38 was able to hang on to it and kind of slide through the grass. But just talk me through that last lap as you saw everything that happened in front of you. What were you trying to do, and what did you feel like you had a good shot to win it there?
Yeah, that last lap was crazy. I honestly was just hoping for a top five, to come out with a second is ridiculous. Coming out of two, I was in sixth place, and by the start finish line, I was in second. Uh, it was just a crazy finish with all the wrecks that happened and everything else. Um, it was just crazy, man. I don't know what else to say. It was crazy.
Alrighty, finish things off here. Any shout outs to sponsors you want to thank here after your done finisher tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Carly Nagel Photography, V2 Design, Main Intel, Boss Hoss, and Cowboy Magic.
Alrighty, appreciate your time here, Tommy. We'll see you here next week potentially.
Potentially.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on second place here, Tommy, and have a good night.
All right, thank you.
So that was the driver of the number 3 machine, Tommy Gossett. Made his first career start here tonight. Started on pole and finished it off runner-up, but the man himself, Chris Etcheper, with the what could actually be called the pass to the grass, since the actual pass to the grass wasn't a real pass to the grass. Chris Etcheper, he managed to save it coming across the finish line and win the race on the apron or in the grass, pretty much. Just talk about the chaos there and how they get the job done.
Yeah, honestly, it was just I was not expecting to win the race. I was losing the draft the last lap, and then coming to turn 3, they got messed up on the backstretch, so I got caught up to them. I wasn't gonna make a move at all. I'm like, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm going to the next round of playoffs. Coming out of 4, I just see him get into it, and I got pushed from them coming off the wall, and I went to the grass, got bumped down there, and unfortunately, that's how I won the race, was below the yellow line. But a win's a win. I'll take it. Unfortunately, I didn't want to do it that way. But hey, I'll take it. Go to the next round, get 10 bonus points, and a better shot to get into the final 4.
Absolutely, the most crucial part, and I saw you back there in about third, and I knew you were probably gonna just play it safe and finish it off, obviously make the next round. But now with this victory, like you mentioned, there are 10 bonus points, so you're 10 points ahead of the other 7 drivers in that round of 8, going as you try to fight for a championship 4 spot and try to fight for to be the very first champion of the iRacing East Series. Just talk us through the last 5 laps or there or so. It was complete chaos. We saw in the last lap there about 2 or 3 guys got turned. You got turned sideways coming across the finish line. Just talk about the whole chaos there and how is from your perspective.
Yeah, the last 5 laps was just. I mean, I was just running there. I was trying to get Brandon Wilson to 501 to get him in my back bumper and just coast through and just try to avoid the carnage. I mean, it was 5 laps. We had 1 fast repair left, and we still had it. Yeah, the whole plan was just to wait in the back and just let the guys in front race it out and hopefully make a mistake, and that's exactly what they did. So, just it sucks how it ended, but I'm glad I got the win. Like I said, 2 more races to go. I'm not really pressured about the next race, but I'll still be helping my teammates out. They'll try to advance.
Absolutely, this 10 bonus points going to totally help you and have an advantage. You only led 1 lap here tonight, and that was the very final one. So definitely just goes to show how competitive tonight's race was. But any sponsors and shout-outs and thank yous you want to give here that makes that car turn on the racetrack?
Yeah, man, I gotta thank DCH Crane for giving us the opportunity to broadcast. And they've been good sponsor the whole season. You guys been good broadcasting the whole season, and really looking forward to more races next season. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to everything.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. Hey, Chris, congratulations on your win, and we'll see you here next week in the round of 8.
Man, thank you.
As race winner here tonight, Chris Hutchbear, the number 38 Valvoline Chevrolet. Very similar sponsors there. Is he going to pick the victory here tonight for a second win of the Season 1 of the iRacing Series as he moves on to the round of 8 with 10 bonus points. But now we take a look at the race results here and try to pick out who are the chase drivers as well. Chris Hutchbear, one of the chase drivers, he moves on to the next round with that win. Tommy Gossett in second. Eric McConey moves on to the next round with that solid third place finish. Chris Ingles makes it home in fourth. Jeffrey Price also one of the chase drivers. He makes it into the next round along with Brendan Wilson. They finish fifth and sixth respectively. Cody Smith definitely a contender all race long and was pretty aggressive there. Probably the most aggressive towards the end there besides 23. Unfortunately for him, he kind of got blocked late there, but at 26, that cost him the win. He probably honestly could have gotten it otherwise, but unfortunately for him, that's going to cost him the chance of the victory here tonight, but he's going to get a solid 7th place finish nevertheless. Eric Reinhardt finishing off in 8th, so he moves on to the next round as well. Scott Leitner in 9th also moves on to the next round, along with Taylor Kahn, who actually came in this race with 10 bonus points from last week after winning at Talladega. He rounds out your top 10, so that now puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers right there into the next round of the chase. And then look back here, next chase driver will be in, and it looks like Drew Hirschku finishes it off in 11th place in his first career start. Nicholas Wayne, Timothy Moore, a couple teammates along with Wesley Johnson right there, 12th through 14th. Jason Papp in 15th place, and that 15th place finish is actually going to put him into the round of 8, just barely squeezed it in there as the last chase, as the first chase driver here. In 8th place as far as the points goes. So Jason Papp, he's going to fight for the championship 4 spot next week. Brian Brusayer finishes 16th. Blake Mosley in 17th. Charles Silvis right there in the 28 machine. He finishes in 18th. Greg McConey unfortunately misses the chase in 19th. In the 9th place driver in points. Jacob Fields finishes it in 20th. 21st, Lieutenant Bobby Hash also in the chase drivers before she misses the next round. Douglas Carlson making his first career start here tonight in 22nd. Nathan Stewart in 23rd. Jesse Fox 24th. Timothy Papp 25th. Kristen is Jr. had a weird crash there. Ran the third and final caution of the race. He's going to miss the next round of the chase. 24 regular season races. He finishes it in 26th. And Corey Sansel in 27th, I believe, also making his first career start here tonight. Anthony Alfredo, 28th. Ryan Keller, 29th. Remote number actually was race control for tonight's accident, so I want to thank him, give a shout out to him there for being race control and helping these guys sort everything out. And that rounds out your field of drivers from tonight's actions of 29 cars for this race. Pretty big field and only 3 cautions. Definitely very impressive. But just a little under half an hour, the Unreal Esports Super Truck Cup Series heads to Talladega in the trucks for some heat races. Make sure you check that out in about 25 minutes or so. So we're going to go live for that event. And, of course, next week, the round of 8, determining the championship 4 next week for the iRacing Series race number 19. Only 2 races left. The very first season. Hard to believe for sure. But appreciate everybody watching here tonight. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. And we'll see you here potentially in 25 minutes or at least next week here. Also, Monday night, the Action Motorsports Cup Series heads to Atlanta for race number 2 of their first season. And then VSR Stock Car Championship next week from Auto Club, if I'm not mistaken, next Tuesday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Appreciate you watching here tonight. And it's LCTV. Have a good night.